National Electrical Code Section 725.148 addresses the installation of Class 1 circuit conductors with power supply conductors. Specifically, it permits Class 1 circuit conductors and power supply conductors to be installed in the same raceway, cable, or enclosure. This allowance is subject to certain conditions aimed at ensuring safety and preventing potential hazards. One key condition relates to overcurrent protection. When Class 1 circuit conductors and power supply conductors share a raceway, cable, or enclosure, it's essential that the power supply conductors are protected by overcurrent devices. These overcurrent devices should not exceed the values prescribed in Section 310.15. Section 310.15 pertains to ampacity calculations for conductors, detailing how to determine the safe current carrying capacity of conductors based on factors such as insulation type, temperature rating, and installation conditions. This requirement ensures that the power supply conductors are adequately protected against overloads and short circuits, minimizing the risk of fire or equipment damage. In the context of control transformers, this means that if you're installing AC control wiring in the same raceway as the load conductors fed by a control transformer, the load side of the transformer must have overcurrent protection. This overcurrent protection needs to be sized appropriately, adhering to the ampacity limit specified in Section 310.15 for the given conductors. To further elaborate, consider a scenario where a control transformer steps down voltage to supply control power to a motor starter or other control devices. The primary side of the transformer is connected to a higher voltage power source, while the secondary side provides a lower voltage control power. The conductors on the secondary side, which carry the load current for the control circuit, are the ones that must be protected by overcurrent devices when sharing a raceway with control wiring. These overcurrent devices, typically fuses or circuit breakers, are intended to interrupt the circuit in the event of an overcurrent condition, such as a short circuit or excessive load. By placing the overcurrent protection on the load side of the control transformer, you ensure that any fault currents in the control circuit are quickly detected and cleared, preventing damage to the conductor's transformer and connected equipment. It's important to note that the overcurrent protection should be sized appropriately for the ampacity of the conductors being protected. Using an undersized overcurrent device may result in nuisance tripping, while an oversized device may not provide adequate protection against overcurrents. Therefore, it's crucial to perform ampacity calculations in accordance with Section 310.15 to determine the correct size of the overcurrent protection. Furthermore, it's essential to comply with all other applicable requirements of the National Electrical Code when installing control wiring and power supply conductors in the same raceway. This includes proper conductor sizing, insulation type, grounding, and bonding. Failure to adhere to these requirements can increase the risk of electrical hazards and may violate local electrical codes. In summary, National Electrical Code Section 725.148 permits the installation of Class 1 circuit conductors and power supply conductors in the same raceway, cable, or enclosure, provided that the power supply conductors are protected by overcurrent devices sized in accordance with Section 310.15. In the context of control transformers, this means that the load side of the transformer must have overcurrent protection when sharing a raceway with the control wiring. By complying with these requirements, you can ensure safe and reliable electrical installation. Additional considerations involve the type of raceway being used. Common raceway types include electrical metallic tubing, often referred to as EMT, rigid metal conduit or RMC, and flexible metal conduit, referred to as FMC. Each type has its own installation requirements and suitability for different environments. For example, RMC is often used in harsh environments where physical protection is needed, while EMT is commonly used in indoor applications. The choice of raceway should be based on the specific requirements of the installation, taking into account factors such as environmental conditions, mechanical stress, and code requirements. Furthermore, the full capacity of the raceway must be considered. The National Electrical Code specifies the maximum number of conductors that can be installed in a given size of raceway. Exceeding this full capacity can lead to overheating of conductors and potential damage to the insulation. Therefore, it's crucial to calculate the full capacity of the raceway and ensure that it's not exceeded. When installing conductors in a raceway, it's also important to use proper wiring methods. This includes ensuring that conductors are properly supported and secured, and that they are not subjected to excessive tension or stress. In addition, conductors should be identified and labeled appropriately to facilitate troubleshooting and maintenance. Proper labeling can help prevent confusion and ensure that the correct conductors are being worked on. Grounding and bonding are also critical aspects of electrical installations. Grounding provides a low impedance path for fault currents to return to the source, while bonding ensures that all metal parts of the electrical system are at the same potential. Proper grounding and bonding can help prevent electrical shock hazards and minimize the risk of fire. The National Electrical Code contains detailed requirements for grounding and bonding, which must be followed to ensure a safe and reliable electrical system. In addition to the requirements of Section 725.148 and 310.15, other sections of the National Electrical Code may also be applicable to the installation of control wiring and power supply conductors. For example, Section 300.3b addresses the requirements for installing conductors of different systems in the same raceway. This section specifies that all conductors in a raceway must have the same voltage rating unless specifically permitted otherwise. This requirement helps prevent insulation breakdown and electrical faults. Furthermore, Section 300.11 addresses the requirements for securing and supporting raceways and cables. This section specifies that raceways and cables must be securely fastened in place and supported at appropriate intervals. Proper support helps prevent mechanical damage to the raceway and conductors. In summary, the installation of control wiring and power supply conductors in the same raceway requires careful attention to detail and compliance with all applicable requirements of the National Electrical Code. This includes ensuring that the power supply conductors are protected by overcurrent devices sized in accordance with Section 310.15, using appropriate wiring methods, and complying with all other applicable code requirements. By following these guidelines, you can ensure a safe and reliable electrical installation. Consideration should also be given to ambient temperature. The ampacity of conductors is affected by the ambient temperature in which they are installed. Higher ambient temperatures reduce the ampacity of conductors, while lower ambient temperatures increase it. The National Electrical Code provides correction factors that must be applied to the ampacity of conductors to account for variations in ambient temperature. These correction factors are found in Section 310.15 and associated tables. When determining the ampacity of conductors, it's important to consider the highest ambient temperature that the conductors are likely to be exposed to. This will ensure that the conductors are adequately sized for the operating conditions. Another factor to consider is voltage drop. Voltage drop is the reduction in voltage that occurs along a conductor due to its resistance. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction or operate inefficiently. The National Electrical Code recommends limiting voltage drop to a maximum of 5% for power circuits and 3% for lighting circuits. Voltage drop can be calculated using various formulas taking into account the length of the conductor, the current flowing through it, and the conductor's resistance. To minimize voltage drop, it's important to use conductors of adequate size and to keep the length of the conductors as short as possible. In addition to the technical requirements of the National Electrical Code, it's also important to follow good workmanship practices when installing control wiring and power supply conductors. This includes ensuring that all connections are tight and secure, that conductors are properly insulated, and that the installation is neat and orderly. Good workmanship can help prevent electrical problems and ensure a long service life for the installation. Before energizing a new electrical installation, it's important to perform thorough testing and inspection. This includes verifying that all connections are properly made, that conductors are properly sized, and that all overcurrent protection devices are functioning correctly. Testing and inspection can help identify and correct any potential problems before they cause a safety hazard or equipment damage. Furthermore, it's essential to maintain accurate documentation of the electrical installation. This includes keeping records of the wiring diagrams, conductor sizes, overcurrent protection device ratings, and other relevant information. Accurate documentation can be invaluable for troubleshooting and maintenance purposes. In summary, the installation of control wiring and power supply conductors in the same raceway is a complex task that requires careful planning, attention to detail, and compliance with all applicable requirements of the National Electrical Code. By following these guidelines, you can ensure a safe, reliable, and code-compliant electrical installation. Remember to always consult the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and local electrical codes for the most up-to-date requirements. Electrical work should only be performed by qualified and licensed electricians who have the knowledge and experience to perform the work safely and correctly. Improper electrical work can be dangerous and can result in serious injury or death. Safety is always the top priority when working with electricity. Always to energize circuits before working on them, and always use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it's best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. Furthermore, consider the type of insulation on the conductors. The National Electrical Code specifies different types of insulation for conductors based on their application and operating conditions. Some common types of insulation include THHN, THWN, and XHHW. THHN insulation is suitable for dry locations, while THWN insulation is suitable for wet locations. XHHW insulation is suitable for both wet and dry locations and has a higher temperature rating than THHN or THWN. The type of insulation used should be selected based on the specific requirements of the installation. It's also important to ensure that the insulation is not damaged or compromised in any way. Damaged insulation can create a path for electrical current to leak, which can result in electrical shock hazards or fire. Therefore, conductors should be inspected carefully before installation to ensure that the insulation is intact. When installing conductors in a raceway, it's important to avoid pulling them too tightly. Excessive tension on conductors can damage the insulation and reduce the current carrying capacity. The National Electrical Code specifies the maximum pull-in tension that can be applied to conductors based on their size and type. These limits should be observed to prevent damage to the conductors. In addition to pulling tension, it's also important to avoid bending conductors too sharply. Sharp bends can damage the insulation and reduce the conductor's ability to carry current. The National Electrical Code specifies the minimum bending radius for conductors based on their size and type. These minimum bending radii should be observed to prevent damage to the conductors. When making connections to electrical equipment, it's important to use the proper type of connectors. There are many different types of connectors available, each designed for a specific application. Using the wrong type of connector can result in a poor connection, which can lead to overheating, arcing, and electrical failure. Therefore, it's important to select the correct type of connector for the application and to install it properly. All connections should be tight and secure to ensure good electrical contact. Loose connections can cause resistance, which can lead to overheating and electrical failure. Therefore, it's important to check all connections regularly and tighten them as needed. When working with electrical equipment, it's important to follow the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions provide important information about the equipment's installation, operation, and maintenance. Following these instructions can help prevent damage to the equipment and ensure that it operates safely and efficiently. In summary, the installation of control wiring and power supply conductors in the same raceway is a complex task that requires careful planning, attention to detail, and compliance with all applicable requirements of the National Electrical Code. By following these guidelines and using good workmanship practices, you can ensure a safe, reliable, and code-compliant electrical installation. Remember to always consult the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and local electrical codes for the most up-to-date requirements. Electrical work should only be performed by qualified and licensed electricians who have the knowledge and experience to perform the work safely and correctly. Improper electrical work can be dangerous and can result in serious injury or death. Safety is always the top priority when working with electricity. Always de-energize circuits before working on them, and always use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it's best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you.